Welcome to the MarketsTalk podcast, where we help you make sense of West Africa's investment world. This podcast is brought to you by DABA, your most comprehensive platform for investing in African stocks, bonds, and managed funds. You can download the DABA app on your favorite Google and Apple app stores. Let's start with some good news this week. The BRVM regional market is back on the rise, and this is not just a small move. It's a clear signal that investor confidence is returning. Last week, from April 20 to 24, marked an important shift. Why? Because several key indicators are moving in the right direction. And more importantly, the fundamentals behind this growth are strong. Let's begin with the market indices. The main index, the BRVM composite, rose by 0.89% to reach 402.59 points. The BRVM 30 performed even better, gaining 1.49% to close at 189.81 points. The BRVM Prestige, which tracks the largest companies, increased by 1.20%. In simple terms, this market is not rising randomly. Large, well-established companies are driving this growth. And that is a very important signal. Why does that matter? Because when large-cap stocks are leading, it usually means institutional investors are coming back. These are banks, investment funds, and professional investors. And when they return, the market becomes more stable, more liquid, and more attractive for everyone, including you. Now, let's talk about the top performers of the week. One stock clearly stands out. NEI-CETA surged by more than 15% during the week. 15% in just a few days, that's significant. This increase is largely linked to the release of the company's financial results. When a company publishes strong results, investors gain confidence. They see growth, profitability, and stability. So they buy. And when many investors buy at the same time, the price goes up. Next, we have BOA Niger, which rose by nearly 13%, and ETI, Ecobank Transnational Incorporated, which gained more than 11%. What's interesting here is that the banking sector is heavily represented among the top performers. Why is this important for you? Because banks are at the center of the economy. When banks perform well, it usually means credit is flowing, businesses are investing, and economic activity is strong. But not everything moved upward. Some stocks declined during the week. SAFCA dropped by more than 23%. However, this kind of drop does not necessarily mean the company is struggling. In this case, it's a technical effect linked to a capital increase. Think of it like this. When a company issues new shares, the value of existing shares is diluted. So the price adjusts downward. Let's now look at overall market activity. Trading volume declined by around 19%. But here's the interesting part. Total transaction value increased by more than 7%. What does that mean? Fewer trades, but larger amounts per trade. So fewer participants, but bigger investors. And once again, this confirms that institutional investors are returning. One stock dominated trading activity this week. Société Générale Côte d'Ivoire. It accounted for more than 20% of total market transactions. Why? Because it is a benchmark stock. Strong fundamentals, high liquidity, well known among investors. When investors come back to the market, they often start with these types of companies. Now, let's move to the bond market. And here too, the signals are positive. Total bond market capitalization increased by 0.92% to reach over 12 trillion francs CFA. 12 trillion francs CFA, that's massive. The most traded bond this week was a Senegal government bond, a 10-year instrument with a coupon of 6.705%. It represented more than 38% of total bond market value traded. What does this mean for you? Investors are looking for stable and predictable returns. Government bonds offer exactly that. And in uncertain environments, they become very attractive. Now let's zoom out and look at the broader economic picture. First major story. Carrefour is expanding into Nigeria and Guinea through partnerships with local operators. Why does this matter? Because it shows that global companies believe in Africa's consumption growth. And that's a strong signal for investors. Second major development. A historic green bond was issued in the Wemu region. This bond will finance a solar energy project in Côte d'Ivoire with a value of over 42 billion francs CFA. And most importantly, it was fully subscribed. This means investor demand is strong, and the bond market is evolving toward more modern, sustainable financing structures. Third key update. Sonatol reported strong quarterly results. Revenue grew by around 7%. Profits increased, and cash flow improved significantly. The key takeaway here, companies investing in data and mobile money continue to grow rapidly. And this creates long-term investment opportunities. But not all news was positive. Sycamore reported a loss this quarter. This was due to maintenance operations and rising raw material costs. This is an important reminder. Investing is not just about following trends, it's also about understanding risks. Now, let's talk about dividends. The 2026 dividend season is well underway. Several companies have announced attractive payouts. For example, BOA Burkina Faso, Sonatel, BE Côte d'Ivoire, Société Générale Côte d'Ivoire. These dividends often offer yields above 5%, which means by holding these stocks, you receive regular income. And to access the full dividend calendar, you can use the DABA app. Let's now talk about opportunities. Market analysis for the coming week shows continued momentum. Some stocks still offer strong upside potential, while others may require adjustments. But these detailed recommendations are reserved for advanced users. That's exactly where DABA Pro comes in. With DABA Pro, you get weekly investment recommendations, in-depth analysis, and exclusive data tailored to African markets. With DABA Pro, you don't just follow the market, you stay ahead of it, and if you want to go even further, DABA Academy is available for you. It's an online platform where you can learn how to invest at your own pace. And right now, there is a promotion. Using the code PODCAST, you get a 3,000 XOF discount on your registration. This week sends a clear message. The market is gaining strength. Investors are coming back. Opportunities are growing. But the real winners are those who understand what's happening. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the DABA Markets Talk podcast. We'll be back next week with another update. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, follow us, and share with friends. Remember, this information is for educational purposes. Always do your own research or consult with a financial advisor before making investment decisions. And download the DABA app on your app store to start investing in African stocks, bonds, and manage portfolios through your phone and find other helpful content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing your financial knowledge.